Emmet Till, 1941-1955, A Beginner's ABC. A equals acid, corrosive, like a steaming iron battering a face. B equals blasé, the unflinching, bleach-blanched jurors electing assassins as equivalent to saints. C equals clarity in deep-sixing the boy's body, despite clownish confusion about how best to weight it down. D equals dispossessed of breath, i.e., that child disposed of in Tallahatchie River murk. E equals etiquette, flouted. Why the black boy dare brook his bold-faced look at the chalk-faced cashier, then cakewalk out the store's door as if swaggering, niggerish with sugary bubblegum and licorice. F equals fisherman, whose dragnet hooked till, i.e., dickered with, picked up his crooked and pickled cadaver out of liquid trickling grave. G equals gunpoint, leveled at Till so he'd not tussle as he got muscled out of bed, hustled away to be taught Southern chivalry via pistol whip and grown men's fists. H equals homicide, that decisively grimy crime. But that Mississippi peach had felt her ego bruise due to Till's brazenly unsubmissive purchase of pink bubblegum and black licorice, his clunking of coins into her clerk's till, his too casual, maybe dismissive, see ya. I equals incorrigible, those sick pics of the dead Addle's swelled up, hellish, blowfish-type face, his Frankenstein monster bust open, watermelon face, the preface to Basquiat's exploded Baconian Negro hits. Incorrigible also be those draconian mirrors where Till nods, grins at me, winks, I be your destiny, GEC, in a Keystone Cops bullseye. J equals just saying, yep, it'd be like germ warfare to digest such details, such disgust. K equals Ku Klux Klan, of course. Them white sheets swishing neath the judge's Gestapo black robes, them white dunce caps of the SS hissing jurors, them white newsreel lights of the circus, big top struck invisible in the risible kangaroo courtroom. L equals lechery, the insidious, invidious urges, always latent if not blatant, i.e., that recidivist vestige of Negroes groaning to embed themselves in bedded white alleged ladies since the slave trade, Civil War, segregation, that lust now embodied nascently in a colored kid cashing in on candy who forgot to say ma'am, forgot to be Piccolo Mapuano, small but good, forgot about his phallus, ebon and allegedly elephantine, looming too large, horse-like, in a hysterics, nightmarish, whorish, and horsing bout, galloping imagination. M equals mammals, what otherwise avian poets must incarnate as, to exchange pinions for penis, vulture beak for vagina lips, plus feathers for pubic hair, one bust for two breasts, nested eggs for a womb cradled fetus, Milton for sod, and blood for ink and wine and tears. N equals news, i.e., the rustling of mussed-up pages, the hustling of photos of trussed-up suspects, the professional highbrow quotations, snippets from snappy lawyers, the untellable exposés issued via insinuation of a snippy black boy's supposed white hussy hunger, how he got lippy with her, was leering or staring or ogling, ogreish, pondering, doubtless, her cotton candy pubes, her pink candy pussy, her candy apple ass. O equals open casket, that is, the flaunting of the habeas corpus in haunting, corpulent, and crapulent haberdagery, plus dauntingly haphazard, unmade-up wounds, as thousands of Negroes revered Till's wanton irreverence, his sauntering insouciance, his jaunty exit out that canteen, his black hands treasuring pink gum and chewy black licorice jujubes with no thought about the pallid worker, her rosé blushed genitals as bestial as everyone's. P equals pummeling, what two-legged cracker canines did to crumble, tumble, and traumatize Till, so the allegedly rude lad sustained a bleeding crotch, and his dented face fronted a plausible lobotomy. His belly swelled into a possible shit pile. His teeth broke into pathetic smithereens. Q equals questions. All fell unanswered. Wide cameras show a preference for cream. Wide black nylons accentuate white legs. Wide her bright tresses dress up flashy mags. Wide they snap the dreamy glimmering of her visage neath her lurching sunbonnet over brimming hair. R equals rustics, just who the touchy, tough guys were. They who worshiped the ideal of the untouchable, quivering brightness of an ivory femininity, who saluted vehemently the idea of a callous lasso, a noose for the nigger bastard boy who'd go piebald into the slough with a 75-pound cotton gin holding down his bloat. S equals stars, megati in night's sable corpse. T equals Till, Lewis, Emmet's papa, who Pound Ezra got attached to as a comrade detainee in U.S. Army impounded Pisa, but who got dangled in spring 45 for 3 rapes and 1 murder, all perpetrated while purportedly liberating some Italianist trio ex-Mussolini. The minor tongue of Till's judge was no match for Pound's major sentence, his beatification of St. Louis Till. U equals underplay, which defined the defense strategy, so the lawyers vomited excusable wrath. A rascally, uppity young'un, likely as low down as his hang-high sire, was corrected by a gentleman genuflecting to his delectable lady. If the killing weren't unrivaled chivalry, then an executed natural selection, A. V equals verdict, which sounded like Jaws trundling gnawed bones. See dirty Jaws, hear putrid breaths. It was a valentine for a wedded maiden, the flouncing tilt of her milky pelvis and her black-trimmed white skin, pink-lined purse preserved gallantly from the jigaboo pickpocket, his would-be jigging and daggering digit. W equals woe begone, which identifies Emmet Till's mama once the all-white jury whited out her son's midnight maiming and murder. Aye, she'd be woe begone, but warrior fierce and warrior frank, to insist on the wide open casket to let the world espy her darling boy's manhandled, bullet-cunted, Dixie nixed, now suddenly eminent remains. X equals X Malcolm. His hates suddenly vindicated so he can channel vitriol into the revolution underway since Dien Bien Phu, i.e. the extermination of white supremacy worldwide in our people of color, living color lifetimes. Y equals young. I mean, just how young was Master Till to nonchalantly shell out for bubblegum and licorice and not yield due gravitas, grave courtesy to that pale female clerk working the register to be erroneous and not spontaneously mouthing, ma'am. His youth was the lethal prerequisite to his being pounded into a puddle, for it was too much a minor to suspect the hopeless business that salvation, that he might not be cowed to kowtow enough to Caucasians, but to prove flippant, insubordinate, suggest full-on defiance at the sassy black-ass devil. Thus his correctors had the duty of chastisement to dissect his insectile self, to be unsqueamish at squashing the ruddy, flooded, puffed up anaconda, to perform sweetly bitter torture so as to render the ferociously vulnerable youth a picture-perfect mug, glamorous in his candid black and white horror. Z equals 0, the shape of the open-top crown, the halo, the laurels that be Saint Emmet Till's residuals. Once his body vacated human definition, collapsed like a deflating zeppelin, or like a zeroing in but disintegrating zero, or like a bubblegum balloon punctured, gone flat, gooey, despite us survivors and our explosive cries, the detonating echoes of a forever rippling, oh,